the European and our own.
Great. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Big pleasure to be with Mateusz talking about CEE innovation. Perhaps my first question is going to be the obsession with CEE. Is there such a thing in this space, in tech, in AI? Is there any regional thinking going on, or is it each country doing their own path towards success?
Well, we are partners, but we are also competitors. And if you look at the Vienna Institute of Economic Analysis study in 2021, they said those are the manufacturers of Europe, the central and eastern part of Europe, right? But what is the problem? They control the least profitable part of the value chain. And we got to change that. And we see this huge transformation, the biggest change in human history of the global economy. And we want to use these drivers like geopolitical, climate, technological, cultural, and social change in order to boost the character of our economies.
And the race at the moment that's on to host, for example, the gigafactories, is this a healthy thing, or should this be a more coordinated approach?
Well, first of all, I'm a strong believer in industrial policy. What we see now in Europe, we need a strong industrial policy, tilting our societies toward the economies we want to create. So this is the third thing. And Europe has problems now because of the long-standing absence of proper forward-thinking industrial policy. Second, I think competition, even between member states of the European Union, is good. Why? Because it forces us to create the best possible conditions for innovation as well for the investment. So you have to have both sides of the story. Yes, just system within the European Union that will really prevent and enable all the talents to grow, both individually as well as nationally, as well as the European spirit. But you also have a market-driven forces that forces each and every country to prove its best.
So in concrete, are you doing a lot with your neighboring countries, or is this not the mindset?
Well, we do a lot. Slovenia is strongly integrated in all the core European value chains. We are one of top 3 industrialized countries within the European Union, but in terms of innovation, we are first in the world in number of PhDs per capita. We want to lead as one of the leading countries in the AI transformation with top experts, actually top number of experts in population per capita. That's why we got the International Research Center for AI under the UNESCO based in Ljubljana. That's why Slovenia is chosen as one of the 6 European Euro HPC AI factories to be located in Maribor, Slovenia. So yes, a part of that, not only toward the Central Eastern Europe, we are carefully looking also to the Western Balkans, historically very connected with Slovenia, and we want to build also with the strong international projects, strong inclusion of the innovation ecosystem of the Western Balkans into the European framework.
The fact that some of this area of the Western Balkans is not in the EU at present, is this a big obstacle, or is AI and tech able to override this?
Well, what we see in the Western Balkans is the rapid emergence of the innovation potential of the region. And Europe, in our eyes, will not be complete until we integrate this full potential. You can see it here at Web Summit, a lot of Western Balkan nations showcasing their solutions in AI, basically. And I have to say, I'm amazed by this event. It showcases the optimism of Europe. You know, for all the European pessimists, my call is, please come here to Lisbon, come to the Web Summit, go through the booths, and you will see the European courage that want to change things. You will see European founders looking for their solutions in breakthrough technologies, trying to save the world, right? And this is what we need, the new era of optimism in Europe.
So you mentioned the very high number of PhDs that you have in Slovenia. How many of these PhDs are you able to retain? And how worried are you about the brain drain?
Well, I have to say, you've been to Slovenia, right?
I have been, yes.
So Slovenia is the most beautiful country in the world.
Highly
recommend
the trip.
Yes. Quality of living, the best place to live, best place to have family, but also we want to be a best place to create and to succeed in business, in innovation, with groundbreaking achievements. So we are not afraid of the brain drain. What we see, the researchers, the innovators, also founders going, for example, across the Atlantic, we want to strengthen the connection between us and them, because they are our ambassadors to open the potentials of the markets they are already present.
And in terms of...
eventually, they'll come back because the quality of living in Slovenia is amazing. So.
But you want them to come back before retirement, right?
Yeah, and further invest in Slovenia. And we have tremendous cases of successful founders now coming back and invest in further startups in Slovenia. This is a strong pillar of our ecosystem.
The other recurring story that I've always heard is essentially, yes, lots of talent, but the ability to raise funds. And in the CEE, that's very striking. I live in Poland. The ability to fundraise in Poland is still very limited. So some of the greatest Polish companies have listed in Amsterdam or in London for that reason. What do you think might be the step change to create enough depth in the capital markets of the region to allow someone with a great idea to find the funding locally?
So I believe in the Savings and Investment Union. So we got to change things in Europe in order to be able to better unite also financial forces in order to boost our competitiveness. So this is the first part. As you know, at the moment, the European Competition Fund is being negotiated for the next multi-annual financial framework. And what we see is that it combines a lot of instruments, from the grants, from the R&D incentives, but also a lot of equity guarantees and other financial instruments. And I'm a fan of Mariana Mazzucato, and she says we have to de-risk and share risks of the breakthrough investments, right? What we failed in so far is not that we want to have a Green Deal and a just green transition. We failed because for more than a decade, Europe was lagging behind in investment. And it's time to stop exporting our European accumulation across the Atlantic. Let's use this money, the savings of our citizens, with proper state-driven guarantees to invest in our startups, in breakthrough technologies, because Europe has this potential and power.
And I wanted to ask you on education. So we're in Lisbon, and I covered in a previous life the creation of the Lisbon Agenda under a former Portuguese Prime Minister, Mr. Barroso, who went on to be the President of the European Commission. And he said, in the Lisbon Agenda, we will create an MIT of Europe. I don't know where that MIT of Europe is. What do you think has happened in terms of the education ambitions? And is this new AI race an opportunity for perhaps this long wished for MIT to actually happen?
I believe we have a lot of MITs in Europe.
You do?
We have several in Slovenia, one in chemistry, one in biotechnology, one in physics, also involved deeply in AI. You have the Max Planck, Fraunhofer, a lot of institutes in Europe. I think that innovation policy in Europe is on the good track. However, you know, the Lisbon Agenda you mentioned.
Yes.
These were the good old days when Europe
they were the old days. I don't know if they were good, but yes.
Europe still had the chance to be the biggest innovation-driven economy in the world. Look what the lack of political will to implement the Lisbon strategy brought to us, right? A serious decline because we made a crucial change in 2008 because we said, okay, it's time for austerity, not for the investment. China and US did the opposite, and that's why the difference.
The history of the CE region is one of tremendous growth. Even today, if you look at the growth projections for Europe, most of the strong growth, with some exceptions, Spain, Portugal are doing well as well, but is in the CE region. The original model of that was after EU accession to become the workshop of Germany, at least in the case of Poland and in the case of some of the other countries. Build the factories in which Volkswagen could make the cars and so on. What is now, in this new transition to an AI world, what is now, you think, the main competitive advantage of this region? Is it still low costs? What is it?
It's the effectiveness. Yes, for Slovenia, the development model produced something in German quality for the Slovenian price. It doesn't work anymore. So we have to find the European and our own innovation strengths in order to rebuild, upgrade our economies, have more potential to grow businesses in these countries, also with the global impact. More than 84% of our GDP is exported. So we are highly oriented by the global demand, specifically in Europe. And I think that this cross-border integration, the barriers of the internal market we still have, specifically on services, this has to fall in order to really boost the potential of these economies as well as the potential of the European economy as a whole.
You're in government, so you have a great tool called public procurement. How do you use that tool to advance a tech agenda?
Well, I believe that innovation public procurement is one of the best tools. Just picture all the AI solutions you see on the booths of the Web Summit. And imagine the public social administration needs to boost the effectiveness of our public administrations. So the public procurement is the best way to challenge those startups in order to build proper solutions to solve the inefficiency of the governments, inefficiency of the public administrations, but again, also to present business cases to scale them in the rest of the world.
When you look around you, which model or which example do you admire most? I mean, when you're sitting in Ljubljana and looking at what's happening elsewhere, where do you see the big beacon of hope?
Well, in young people. Just go through the Web Summit and you will see amazing entrepreneurs, amazing founders with their ideas. Maybe the ideas they present at the moment is not their final success story, but their ambition to succeed is a good news for Europe. So cheers to that.
Half of the world is very excited about AI. The other half is probably very worried about AI, especially all the people like me who missed the initial boat and who feel that it's a job-destroying market that is being created. What do you say to them? And is that debate, you think, different in the CE? Is there more awareness of the...
I think this is becoming a universal discussion. But, you know, yes, we are concentrating on the risk and the side effects of the AI a lot. However, I think we should concentrate more on the potentials. Look, we all use it. And we all know how it boosted our productivity, how it made our work easier, specifically in those jobs that are maybe more routine, let's say, not as creative as they could be. So I think this is a great way to boost our productivity, a great way to find new solutions, and I think really it will not replace the human heart. It could replace the human mind, but you know,
Not
the
the
heart it cannot.
R&D, how much is spent of your national budget on R&D? And depending on the answer that you give me, how much do you expect it to be in about a decade? Is it going to be flatlining, or is this something that can really grow?
No, it has to grow. It's part of the industrial policy I believe in. Why? Because specifically on the great breakthroughs, you cannot expect that the public sector will bear all the risks. These risks are immense. Specifically in the deep tech, in the biotechnology, in maybe a lot of AI-driven sectors. So what we have to do is to also prepare proper public schemes in order to share those risks, but also to boost and create the environment friendly for innovation. Fear, distrust, the danger of war tomorrow does not create the atmosphere we need in Europe to boost collaboration in innovation and boost collaboration in investment. If you want to create the better world, well, you start by believing it.
The danger of war, though, for example, is creating a dual-use technology, and that's a big part of what we're trying to develop under the SAFE program. Do you see this happening, that technology is going to break down barriers between sectors, for example, military and civil development? Do you see it happening or not really?
First of all, I'm not a very big fan of these huge investments in arms. However, I'm realistic enough to know that this is a chance, and the public expenditure in this field will rise. So we want to use it, but we want to use it to grow innovation and then use these funds also for scaling on the technologies we are already good at. For example, we are a great producer of drones. So far, we produced it in a peaceful context. I don't know, the observation of the agriculture, for example, different kind of civic needs. Yeah, but yes, it could be used also in the dual-use context. I didn't answer the ambition on innovation spending. Yes. Between 2022 and 2030, we project to quadruple the public side of the investment in innovation. So yes, Slovenia has a great innovation ecosystem. We want to become from the competent and reliable supplier to the European industries, innovative and sustainable developer for the European industries. And that's why we want to see ourselves as the next European hub for innovation of sustainable and advanced technologies.
Well, Mateusz, it's been a huge pleasure talking to you. Thank you to the audience.
Thank you.
And enjoy beautiful Lisbon and the great summit.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.